So, last arc I said something about how it sort of felt like the story was stagnating and outside of Okarun's arc nothing much happened. Well, Yuki no Butatsu decided to go in the completely other direction for this arc, and honestly, what he was able to do in 10 chapters, at least in terms of action, was pretty incredible. You know, because I took a break from reading DanDaDan, you can't tell because I posted these in succession, I kind of forgot that, like, the story is actually half yokai alien focused and half spirit focused, and, it kind of caught me off guard just how much of a presence the yokai played in this specific arc. What I did remember, though, instantly, was the focus the first couple of arcs put into the fact that Okarun is still missing parts of his kit. And even though the last couple of arcs didn't revolve around the golden balls, it was only a matter of time until they came back into the picture. Awesome. So when Momo hears a report about a floating golden ball, she grabs Okarun, and the story essentially revolves around their fight against the yokai, which turns out to be an alien in a yokai costume whose like behavior kind of reminds me of like Starfire from the Teen Titan cartoon a little bit. And the fight is awesome, and I'm going to talk about it more in the like section of the video. But after like writing the review, it's like after writing like the script for the review, it struck me that not a lot is happening in these arcs, and the other arcs aren't exactly dripping with story. They are really fast-paced and action-focused, and I don't know if this is like Tatsu trying to play to the TikTok's generation's attention span, or if he's simply not interested in developing like long, heavily thought-out story arcs, but the shortness and shallowness of some of these story plots are becoming a reoccurring trend to me now on like second viewing. As usual, I think I'm going to start with the stuff that I don't like first, mostly because it's shorter, and I like talking about what I enjoy more than what I dislike. And outside of the fact that these stories haven't really been so much stories as backgrounds for cool fights to happen, my main complaint is I really don't know how I feel about this new alien's presence and what it's going to mean for the group. Like, we don't know much about her as a character, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we even have her name yet, and all we know for sure is that she's an alien who lives by this code that whoever defeats her in battle is the person she has to marry. And despite the fact that, in honestly a pretty hilarious gag, that Ira and Momo were the ones who defeat her, she instantly takes a liking to Okarun, which would be fine if it was just going to be played off as like a one-time gag, but I have this feeling that Tatsu is going to write this alien girl as another wrinkle into Momo and Okarun's relationship, and truthfully, I really don't want that. Also, like, Tatsu has written phenomenal arc endings and cliffhangers before, but this one for me didn't work too well. We see that there is, at least I think, another alien force on Earth, and we see it wiped out the 3 aliens that kidnapped Momo in the beginning of the story, which I mean good. They were creeps, and like the artwork for the killing alien does look amazing. It's super imposing, but literally it's all we have to go on. This new arc transition doesn't feel as seamless as others in the past to me, and definitely has the has me the most confused about what's supposed to be coming next. But I mean, I do have the ability to blitz through the next arc, so I can't really complain that much about like not really understanding what's going on. Now, finally, I'm about to jump into the likes, but before I get into all the stuff I did enjoy, if you have made it this far and you are liking this review, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. I drop breakdowns like this kind of regularly, and it really helps the channel grow, especially just like anything you can do. Really appreciate it. Thanks. With that said, let's get on to the first of many likes, and this might sound crazy considering my thoughts on it before, but the humor in this arc really worked well. The opening gag of Gigi's family driving to the ice household to help rebuild the house and forcing Gigi to run behind the car for no reason only to discover that the house was rebuilt was actually like a pretty good couple panels. This arc also like shines on this character whose name for the life of me I can't remember, so I'm just gonna call him Simp Guy, who has this major crush on both Momo and Ira, and they're upset with Okarun because both girls express an interest in him, and apparently he's been trying to like observe and study Okarun so he can pull a girlfriend for himself. And because he and Momo are talking about the golden balls, he's convinced it's because Okarun talks to the girls with saucy language, and every single time he tries it, Tatsu draws these panels just showing how irritated he makes everyone, and honestly, that was probably some of like Tatsu's best hitting percentage on gags for me this arc. Gigi also had this like tremendous growth as a character. We see that sometimes there's a blend between Gigi and the Evil Eye's personality, especially when they are playing, like Gigi promised. There are some panels where they're playing soccer and Gigi's personality comes out, even in the Evil Eye's body, and later we see that Gigi is also slowly getting a handle on his transformation, able to stop the Evil Eye from taking over once, but of course, because Simp Guy messes up, he's forced to turn back into his Evil Eye form, but there was progress, and I appreciate that. Also, it's kind of interesting how the Evil Eye, being this child who was locked away from society, is kind of like a rampaging toddler who doesn't seem to understand how anything in the world works. Like, when he transforms at school, the Evil Eye has like no idea how to use the chopsticks in the lunchroom, so Momo has to teach him. And I wonder if that will slowly help the Evil Eye mellow out over time. Okarun also had a really interesting run this arc, because last arc he was definitely the central figure. And I appreciate that Tatsu is not obviously playing favorites between him and Momo, because he places Okarun in the backseat to allow Momo to shine more in this arc. Because the Kaiju gets the Kaiju gets to be such a big size, the group members have to team up in how they fight, and I like how they operate sort of like a dysfunctional version of the Teen Titans. Yes, that is 2 Teen Titans references in one video. Can you tell I've been reading more comics lately? I also love the dynamic of Momo taking on the leader role and Okarun becoming the team strategist thanks to Momo's charisma and Okarun's intellect. This is what she has been playing with the entire time. It's driving me crazy, but I think you should know in case you hear it. I'm going to try to edit out the audio, but if you hear squeaking, it's because my Golden is in love with this toy from BarkBox. Not sponsored, but could be. Anyway, like I was saying, I do love this dynamic of Momo taking on the leader role and Okarun becoming the team strategist, thanks to the fact that like Momo has more charisma and Okarun is like smarter and has the intelligence. And I'll even say that Ira's gag, playing off like wanting to be the leader, is becoming easier to tolerate, and she even gets a few chuckles out of me when she pretends to be unconscious so Okarun has to carry her back to the house. But then Okarun can't move, so Momo has to carry both of them to the house. It was funny, and I actually enjoy Ira as a character more and more, the less prominent she's becoming as this like love rival in this relationship wrinkle. But as usual, outside of the relationships, it's the combat where DanDaDan has always shown. And firstly, I wanted to discuss that like the initial difficulty that's posed by the Kaiju being invisible. We spent the past couple of arcs getting to really see how much Momo and Okarun have grown in their abilities, and I thought that it was pretty cool to have them so thrown off balance by their opponent being invisible. I feel like in so many other shonens, invisibility as a power has kind of just like fallen to the wayside because protagonists can just be like, oh, but I sense your ki, and that's the end of it. So I like how Tatsu like gave more credence to like how much of a struggle it would be to fight something you can't see. And I like how Saucy Language Guy was more than just a gag. Like, he's the one who breaks down the secrets of the camouflage, making it so that there was a reason for him to be there in the first place. Also, on that, quick side note, does this imply that the Simp Guy does have powers too? I asked this because like when the Kaiju opens its domain expansion, the Simp Guy doesn't disappear. Like, is he supposed to be being set up as another member of the team? Because personally, I hope not. Funny as he is, I feel like he's only good for like a short time and might become annoying if he becomes this mainstay, but I guess we'll just have to see. Honestly though, the best part of this arc was the mech fight. I appreciate the power system Tatsu created, which allows him to fit all of these types of combats that he wants into his world. It's honestly super respectable as a writer, because as the Kaiju gets big, the fight literally turns into the ending scene of Power Rangers, with like Simp Guy basically turning the nanotexture that built the ice house into a freaking like Megazord, and while technically it's Momo who takes over the thought construct, like the Simp Guy is kind of Red Rangering it for a little bit before eventually he's thrown out of the suit by Iroh and Momo for being just an awful pilot. Like I said, there were some panels that really hit in this arc, but it was the combat panels during the robot like battle that were just phenomenal. Yukino Utatsu's ability to draw fluid and dynamic action is top tier, and I seriously can't wait to see how the anime handles it. And I also love that the mech can draw from the powers of the people that's inside of it. It's really creative, it's OP, and again, I love that Tatsu lets Momo and Ira have a win, with both Gigi and Okarun being on the sideline and just amazed at the way they can throw down with the Kaiju. But all in all, though, this arc was really like peak DanDaDan in terms of like its special properties. Like, the story isn't anything special, but the humor and the hilarious and super creative use of the power systems and the consistently exceptional character work just carries this arc. I'm actually kind of interested in if this next arc is going to be the end of the plot lines driven by Okarun's missing biology, or if Tatsu is going to find a way to extend it. And I hope he manages to like continue growing his cast of character in a great way like he's been doing so far. I think like numerically, if I had to rank this arc, I'd give it like a 3.5 out of 5. It was enough to keep me reading at least and entertained, even though it's not the deepest story that I've ever like digested. But with that said, that's all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed this review, I would really appreciate it if you could give this video a like, and if you're new to my channel and enjoy my work, subscribing would be a huge help. I also stream on Twitch either on Wednesdays or Saturdays, sometimes both, and as of like August 5th when I'm filming this, I'm currently playing through Pokemon Brilliant Sword, a Drayano-inspired difficulty hack, so follow me over there if you want to see me struggle, and if you want to keep up with me in general, follow me on Twitter, where I swear I'm trying to be more present. And with those plugs complete, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and until next time, peace.